and we're going to be talking about content marketing. Morning, Scott.
Good morning.
How are you?
Thanks for having me on. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
Great to have you.
I'm doing great.
Okay, so, you know, I know you can get started yourself in content marketing, and it seems like something, you know, you can go start writing your own blogs, you can write your white papers, those types of things. But at some point, if it's going to be a serious part of your marketing, you really need to hire out, get some resources in to do that. So how do you go about selecting? When do you decide, hey, you know, now's the time I need professional help? And then what are some tips on how to select that help?
The key to content marketing, like all marketing, quite frankly, is this word called consistency.
Okay.
So you got to ask yourself, how consistent can you be with producing the content?
Right.
Okay, and
it's
you
kind of
got
like social media, right? You kind of get it up and running, and for 2 weeks you're really good, and then you get a big project or something else happens, and then it dies off for 2 weeks, and then I need business, and you start picking it up, right? So.
Right. Which in the long run, for a long-term strategy, that's not effective.
Okay.
So you need to be honest with yourself about the consistency factor. Can you be consistent?
Right.
And whatever that time, once a week, once a day, if you're not doing something in content marketing at least once a week, then longer periods than that is too long a time gone by. It just isn't going to be effective in our world today, you know, because we're just, you know, everyone, you know, it's just, we live in this fast-paced microwave thinking.
Right?
So that's the most important question, and that kind of dictates when you need to bring on help. So if you can be consistent in producing a blog 3 times a week, and you're going to be disciplined about sitting down and writing it out, and then doing the promotion to that blog to get that word out about it, because you just can't write a blog and post it and go,
then you got all the Facebook posts, and
so
you know, so there's a whole lineup out of that.
So that's the number one question to ask. Can I be consistent at it? And if you can't be consistent at it, then you need to start looking for help from either freelance writers that are in your niche, or companies, you know, like ours that, I mean, we have a bunch of freelance writers that we use and have gone through and have tried and can do different niches. But you need, writing styles are like art.
Yes.
Some people will look at this piece of art and go, isn't that wonderful?
Right.
And then somebody else will come up to it and, that is just awful. And it's the same with writing. People like different writing styles. There's all kinds of writing styles. So you got to find a writer that matches you and that can write as close to you as can be, and is going to get engaged with what you do. Otherwise, you'll always be disappointed with having someone, because content marketing all the time is in generating the content.
Yeah.
So if you can find a partner that can help you write that, I personally would still have the business owner or people involved in the company be the ones doing the social media part or delivering interacting, answering questions, posting it up on the Facebook, and because that becomes a lot of companies do outsource it, and I just personally, my opinion is it's just not anywhere near as effective if you're doing it internally. You can get help in scheduling, help in training, help in finding the right tools to allow you to be effective, help from an outside source to maybe help you be accountable to doing it.
Yes.
But you internally to the company have to actually do the promoting of that content marketing on the social side of things.
Right. Now I have seen, you know, where if the owner or the main person doing it, they're able to produce the content. Sometimes it's helpful just to have somebody who can come in, so you kind of draft a blog for somebody to, or you do a video for somebody to come in and take that and format it and put it and get it up and posted.
Right.
Or if you have, hey, here's 10 social media posts that I want to do over the next 2 weeks, have somebody do those and schedule them. As long as, like you said, you're following it. It doesn't mean you abandon it. You follow it, you follow the interaction, you answer the comments, those types of things. Right,
because in social media, it's important to answer people fairly quickly. I mean, the quicker you can answer a comment or a post or something that someone's done, the better off you're going to be in social media. But that is a good, you know, if someone can write and produce the content, having somebody do the, what I would term the kind of the technical or boring side of it, posting it up, doing all the back end stuff, will be an efficient use of time. So.
And so as you're starting your content marketing, you know, whether it's blogging or whatever, even into social media, like Scott said, be realistic with yourself. Set some goals of how many times you want to post and see if you can just get that out. If you can't, then it might be time to get help if you think that content marketing is a great way to promote your business, and a lot of times it is. So once again, we are live here at Be Better Business TV, and we have a question from our audience. Alyssa?
What do I need to do to get the content up on my website?
Okay, so this gets a little bit more into the technical. So I've written the paper or I've done the video. How do I get it up on the website, and how should I position it there?
So depending on, well, the answer is it depends.
Okay.
So I mean, it depends on how your website is built. If you're putting it on the website itself, or if you're putting it on a blog, and what type of, you know, a lot of people use, you know, Blogger or WordPress or
Right.
those types of things. So you have to have admin access to log into those back ends and post the blog, you know, from a technical side. Depending on your website, if you have a content management system attached to it or not. If you do, then you know how to use it, you can log in, post it up as a page, or add it to a page, or whatever the case may be. If you don't, then you're going to have to send it to your webmaster and say, post this up on such and such page, or create new page for this particular new content. So it really is going to depend on the situation a little bit.
So the first part of it is setting up the content. If it's a blog, putting it in your website or setting up the website for distribution, right? That's kind of the first part. But then the second part of that, I guess, is how do I use my website to then promote, you know, so now my homepage comes up. How do I get people to that page or promote that particular thing, and how do I use my website to do that?
Well, if you want your website to be found, I mean, it's just, you have to promote the website. Like it's basic marketing. So your website can either be found, or you can send people to it.
Okay.
So inbound, or you're sending people to it. So you're either optimizing your site from a search standpoint. So when people type in related terms to your industry, your site comes up in basically the top 3 results in either Google or Bing or whatever you tend to be using, and people will find your site and go to it. Or you do an email campaign, or you send out a press release, or you do a traditional radio advertising, sending people to your website, or whatever the marketing aspect may be. You have to promote.
And so once you get them there, do you have any suggestions on how you kind of add that promotion of the content right onto your homepage?
Well, depending on what the content is, I would, if you're posting up like an ebook or a white paper or something like that, I would have an actual image of it, what it looks like, so people can see it, not just a little box saying sign up for a free and have no image. And people we like to look. So have an image so that they can actually read the title, see what it looks like, and then have a little box under that, you know, just basically an email saying, you know, for your email, sign up, get your free, you know, 7 tips to content marketing white paper, and sell the, I call it sell the click. You have to sell people on why they should give you their email there.
So
and that's an art in itself.
Yeah.
So you have to show, because there's always a cost. It's free, but there's always a cost, and there's always hesitation, there's always anxiety, there's always some type of friction there. So you have to overcome that so that they'll give you the email or whatever information you're looking for. So you have to sell that.
And that aspect of, you know, putting it up on your website and then having people click, and the whole aspect of having it go collect their email address, track that, and then automatically email them. I mean, that's not something that's real simple. I mean, that's probably something that if you're not familiar with websites and how to do that, you probably want to get some help in doing that, right? To make sure that it's smooth.
At least setting it all up, and tracking it.
Yeah.
I mean, as you know, tracking. If you're not tracking what you're doing, I don't think you should do it. So it needs to be effective, and if you're not tracking that, how people are getting there, where they're stopping, where the problems are with that, it's hard to improve it.
Yeah, and the other thing with that is as they download it, make sure that you're following up with them. Make sure that they get it immediately and it's not something that has to manually be sent out within the week. Make sure that they get it. You know, that's why they're online, because they want immediate gratification, right? So make sure your system's set up so that they can get it immediately if possible, and then follow up. You know, make sure you're using that information and doing something with it, because that's what content marketing is about, is collecting that information and then doing with it something with it to get into the sales process.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank Scott, CEO of Rev Builders, for being our guest this morning. And Scott, we've talked a lot about content marketing. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Rev Builders marketing?
Well, real quick, because I mean, we're kind of here right at the end,
we're
but
right at the end.
I mean, Rev Builders, we find out what your pain is, what you're trying to solve in terms of a company and where you're trying to get, and then help you get there through various marketing activities. So search engine optimization, online marketing, email marketing, content marketing,
Right.
Whatever's new next week marketing. We will help you generate leads and sales and increase the revenue at your company.
Yeah.
That's what we do, bottom line. It's pretty
And
straightforward.
and I think you help people figure out if that new shiny object in marketing is really for them or not,
Right.
too.
All this stuff isn't for everybody. Just
That's
because
right.
it's new and everyone's talking about it doesn't mean you should necessarily be doing it.
That's right.
So it depends on a lot of different things that are going on in your company.
Great. Well, that sounds like a great business. And thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us here on Be Better at Business TV. Remember that better business leads to better decisions, and that leads to better results.